Okay, hello everyone. Sorry for the delay. We were having a little bit of technical difficulties on our end, but I think we've worked this all out. Welcome to today's NSI Nail Technicians Facebook group webinar, I guess is what we're calling this. Get stumped. It's like, what are we calling these things nowadays? Anyways, but okay, anyways, enough of that. Welcome. For those of you that are new to the group, I want to do a great big shout out to you and welcome you to our Facebook group. We are a learning group. We are here to support each other. We want to ask questions. There's no such thing as stupid questions. There's no bullying, none of that going on. Welcome. And for those of you that are new and don't know who I am, my name is Darlene Tavitz. I am NSI Global Educator, Corporate Educator for NSI, and just love being able to reach out with you guys and just share thoughts and ideas and look at different product brands or products that we have and promote those. So yeah, that's really exciting for me. I do want to say and let you know, I will repeat this again a little later on, but next month, June 23rd at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the United States, we will be doing a Zoom meeting. It will not be posted on Facebook. This is, you need to sign up, you need to register for it. I don't want to say it's invitation because you're the one signing up, but that's the only way you're going to be able to get a link to be able to watch the webinar that we're going to be doing. It is going to be a pretty in-depth webinar where we're going to be taking a look at a shape, which I'll show you under camera, get a little sneak peek as to what we're looking at, but we're going to be doing a daisy nail. And it's not just doing a daisy, we're actually going to be sculpting it and just what all of that is going to entail, how to break it down, how to make it. And so that should be a lot of fun. Space is limited because we can only have so many people be able to join the group. So if you want in on it, register today if you can. There will be a link that will be put up in the comment section so that you can look to see where you can sign up for it. So that is really exciting. So yeah, looking forward to that. Today's webinar, what we're going to be looking at is NSI attraction line. We're going to be looking at the different monomers, how they behave, what they do. We're going to be looking at our brushes, just all of those things. I am going to sculpt out a coffin nail and just kind of go through how we do the form fitting, all that kind of stuff. Going to do a bit of a fade with that one, as well as incorporate a little bit of glitter. So hopefully that should be interesting for you all. Do a shout out in the comments. Let us know where you're from. Tell us who you are. Tell us what your favorite NSI product is, and perhaps even what you might like to talk about or look at for future webinars down the road. So that's exciting, and I am thrilled that you are all here. I'm gonna get my camera turned around and do all that I need to do here, so just give me a second while I do that, and I'll try not to make it too wiggly. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna turn you around first. Let's go like this. Whoops, what did I do?
Darlene, are you there?
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you, but we can't see you.
And I don't know what I did. I literally, all I wanted, there we go. Oh, don't know what I did there. Sorry about that. Okay, like seriously, we're having technical difficulties on everybody's end. I did not mean to do that by no means. Woo-wee. We're off to a good start. You'd think that this was a Monday, but it's not. Okay, so first things that I want to do. I would like to show you the new packaging for the NSI Attraction monomers. So let's do this first. Okay, so if you are familiar with NSI and the different monomers that we have, they used to be all in different packages, a little bit of a different look, and we wanted to make everything look very cohesive. We wanted it to be streamlined and yeah, just look cohesive in your salon, in the shops and all that kind. So what we have done, let's go here to Attraction Original. This is the original packaging. I don't have the old bottle here, but the original NSI Attraction monomer. Okay, so right now what we've done is everything, all of the monomers are underneath the heading of Attraction Nail Liquids. Okay, when you see original, that is the original Attraction monomer. Okay, so this has HEMA in it. It's a relatively quicker setting monomer, right? Then we have our new sensitive line. So it's Attraction Nail Liquid Sensitive. And this one is HEMA free. We no longer have Universal. Universal was our HEMA-free monomer, but it was older technology. And so we have revamped the technology. So this one sets up faster than what Universal did, but still slower than original. So you still have some time to work with it, but it is HEMA-free. To be truthful, I love using sensitive. I use sensitive all the time. I don't find that it takes forever for it to set up. So if you're kind of hesitant and you're like, oh, I really like how original sets and I don't want to give up that. This is just slightly there under. Okay. Then we've got our Attraction Nail Liquid Odorless. This is what Fall Liquid used to be called. Okay, so this is the odorless monomer. Now I want to point out with the odorless monomer, a lot of people, when they think odorless, they think, oh, there's no odor. That's not true. It's odorless. It has less odor than the other ones, but it is not odor free. What makes it be less odorless is the fact that it sets up extremely slow. So we have to use a different bead ratio when you're working with the odorless. You need a much drier bead because you're going to have quite a bit of monomer that is going to be in your brush. And because when you press down that bead, it takes a little bit longer for that bead to set up. So it's odorless. It's a slower setting product. Okay. And then we have our Attraction Nail Liquid, which is the Primerless. Okay. It has advanced adhesion monomers. So this one here, we call it Primerless because it does have, this is the monomer that has the most amount of HEMA compared to these three. Okay. So you don't technically need to use a primer when you're working with the Primerless, but, and here's the big but, if you have clients that really do have a lot of lifting, I still will use the Essential Bond for my primer. Okay, so it's primerless. It's designed to not, but if you have that difficult client, it's still okay to use a primer with this one. But the primerless was really it was really designed for the art aspect of nails. What it does is it really makes your colors pop. So what I did, so this one has a lot of purple. Excuse me, a lot of purple in it. And I was actually going to put some into some Dappen dishes so that you can kind of see the difference. And I really was hoping that I could have um, 3 dishes that all look the same. And I apologize, but I wanted to have the clear so that you could see through it. Maybe I will put my white gauze underneath there because I think that'll show up a lot better. so you can see. So the Primerless has the most amount of purple. So this is Primerless. Okay, so if I put some into a container, you're going to see that that is really quite purple. If I take the original, it will too still have some purple, but you can see it is considerably lighter. Okay, the sensitive is even it's about the same as what we've got here. Actually, it's quite a bit less as well. So you've got your Primerless, you've got your original, and then you've got your sensitive. So out of the more purple that there is in your monomer, the brighter the colors look. So I did a little comparison, and I'm not really sure how well you really can tell here when I'm looking at it, but under camera, I'm really hoping that you'll be able to see the difference. So this particular nail, I used the Primerless liquid, and this one here, I did the original. What the Primerless liquid does is it makes the colors really pop. It gives it a really vibrant lift to the colors that you're working with. Okay, I would not recommend using Primerless with your clear because it's going to give it that purple hue. And if you use white, well, actually, no, if you use clear, it's going to kind of give it that grayish purple hue. And if you use white, it's going to make your white look lavender because of the monomer. So this Primerless is really great for the colored acrylics. It works great if you're doing 3D art or if you're doing a French, a traditional French where you're using color that will really give it that pop. But then I would definitely switch to either original or sensitive or the odorless, whichever one, when it comes to working with your clear, because it can tint or give that the clear that little bit of a hue. But I don't know, like I said, I'm not sure if you can see that how well under camera. Here in person, I can really tell the difference, but you can see that the Primerless is very purple, and you've got your original, which has just a hint of purple. Your sensitive has even less purple in it, and I have run out of Dappen dishes, so I'm just going to clean one because I want to show you the odorless, what that one looks like. Okay, so took out that one. So this is the odorless. And that has very little to no purple in it whatsoever. So these are the differences. Okay, so when we are talking about odorless, I'm just going to go like this. Oh, no, hang on. Scooch that down. Okay. When we are looking at our monomers, the sensitive, the original, and the Primerless, our bead ratio is the same. It's a medium wet consistency. When we are looking at the odorless, it is a medium dry consistency. So I'm going to show you under camera what exactly I mean. So this is the sensitive. Okay, so I've got, no, pardon me, this is the spa, this is the sensitive. Sensitive or original, whichever one, they all works the same. Okay, and I'm going to use spring tulips. I just want to show you your bead consistency when you are picking up your monomers. Okay, so let's take a look here. I like to get rid of those bubbles in my brush, and I want a medium wet consistency. So you can see, well, that was a little too dry. Did you see that? All right, let's try this again. All right, so you can see that the monomer is getting picked up. The powder, really nice. It's turning into a nice pearl. And when I press it down, you can see it's nice and wet looking and it's easy to move. And I can go like that. Okay, so that is my medium wet consistency. Okay, now if I am looking at my spa, this one has to be medium dry. And I don't know if you can tell under camera. It's always a little deceiving what you can really tell under camera or not. The Odorless has, I'm going to call it, it almost looks like as if it's a thicker water base compared to the others. And that is because it takes longer for it to set. So I really want to be able to purge a lot of that liquid out so that when I pick up my bead, I need it to be really dry. Okay, so you can see it's not melting down, and that's okay because when I press it onto my nail bed, my brush still has monomer in it. Okay, and now I can move that and get it into place where I need it to be. If this was really wet, it is going to take forever for it to set up. So you can see I've got a lot of playtime when it comes to the odorless compared to the sensitive or the original. Okay, so if you're using odorless, please, please, please make sure that you are using a very medium wet consistency, or oh my goodness, medium dry. Get your words together here, Darlene. Medium dry. Everything else is a medium wet. Odorless is medium dry, medium dry, medium dry. Get that in your head. Okay, I want to show you now the differences in our brushes. Okay, this is the Baby Kolinsky. This is the Grand Kolinsky. This is the Royal Precision. And this is the Precision Elite. So if you are new to acrylic and you're wondering, well, why the differences in brush sizes, think about it this way. The smaller the brush, the less liquid the brush can hold. The bigger the brush, the more liquid it can hold. Okay, it doesn't matter which brush you use, you're going to have to learn how much you press out of the backside of the brush to the bead size that you want. Okay, whenever I am teaching a class, and it never ever fails, because in the class kit, they get the Grand Kolinsky. Okay, well, I typically use the Royal Precision or the Precision Elite. So when I go to press out, and what I mean by that is when I put my brush in and I'm pressing the liquid out of the brush, I know how hard I need to press depending on what bead size I need to pick up. Okay, well, what happens with me is if I show with the Grand Kolinsky, I tend to press the same way that I do my Royal Precision, and then whenever I pick up, I tend to pick up too dry of a bead, which makes me half crazy and makes me feel like, oh, you're a really good educator because you don't know what you're doing. Well, I do, but it's what you get used to on a daily basis. So these are more your, I guess, your entry level, because you do want to have good control of your bead. You want to be able to uh, you need to be able to pick up the right amount of monomer for the right size bead that you want. And of course, you want to be able to do that with every brush that you work with. But like I said, I tend to use, these two are my go-to brushes, and I'm just used to working with them. Okay, any questions with regards to the monomers or anything with regards to the brush sizes at this point? I should go through perhaps. This is a size 6. This is an 8. Correct me if I'm wrong, Laura, but I believe that this is a 10 and that this is a 14. If this is not a 10, it's a 12. It's one of those two, but this is the smallest, obviously, and then you can see that this is the largest. If you're used to doing a one bead pickup and working your whole nail, you probably are going to want to use the Precision Elite because it's going to have more than enough monomer for you to be able to do your whole nail enhancement. Where if you're learning and you're doing zones, you're probably going to use one of the smaller ones because they will hold less monomer in there. It's going to be more difficult to do a one bead pickup if you are using a smaller brush. Okay, so I'm just putting my caps on here. And when you put your
So
caps on, oh,
the
sorry, yep.
brush for the Royal Precision
Yep.
is a number 8. The Precision Elite is a number 14. The Grand Brush is a number 8, and the Baby Grand is a number 6.
Really? Well, looky there. See, now I would have said for sure that this is more like a 10 and that's more like an 8. But I guess that's why you are the person in charge there, Laura. You have the answers. Okay, so I would like to move on. Laura, were there any questions before I move into my demo, or are we good?
No, but just to clarify, a question I see a lot is the odorless. It is
Yep.
its own monomer. It's not in addition to another monomer.
No,
So
that's correct.
yeah, so it should be used on its own, and it's good for salons and spas for the odorless and state boards in the US. But as far as odor is concerned, are they all about the same odor, other than odorless? Are they all like a low odor? How would
Yeah,
you
I would definitely say that between the sensitive, the original, and the primerless, these three here, they are all a low odor. So keep in mind, the faster a monomer powder sets up, typically the more vapors it gives off. So these ones here, because they are all very close in setup time, the odor of the monomer is also very close. So I would definitely call these a low odor monomer. Because the sensitive, pardon me, oh my word, because the odorless takes longer to set up, that's why there is even less odor for these ones here. So this is a great monomer to work with if you are in a spa where people don't like the smell perhaps of monomers. It, like Laura said, this is the monomer, so you don't add it to any of these. And I know that there are NSI doesn't have any, but there are some companies that will sell like scented drops that you can put into your monomers so that it helps to alleviate some of that odor. I'm always hesitant. I'll be truthful. This is a Darlene thing. This is not an NSI thing. But for myself as a technician, I'm always a little hesitant because does it change the workability of that monomer? So that's something that if you're interested in looking, you're going to want to ask yourself that question. I would be curious to see that. Okay, what are we doing here today? We are going to do a coffin. Okay, so I've got my nail prepped here. Everything's ready. With the coffin, the characteristics of it are very similar to a stiletto. Okay, so depending on the length of the nail, we may have to drop the nose of our form slightly. Okay, now if you're not making it a very long a coffin, then you can get away with keeping your form straight. But the longer you go with your coffin, you may have to angle your form slightly down. Okay, so how are we going to do this? Okay, so if you are new to forms, let me describe the form for you. Okay, you've got your black lines that are for straight sidewalls. So that would be great for your square nail, your Monroe nail, all of those things. Then you've got your arrowed lines, and these are going to be great for your stilettos and your coffins. And then there's a combination at times, especially when we're doing almonds, we start off straight and then we angle up. Okay, so today we're going to be lining up our angled lines with our sidewalls to make our coffin. Okay, so this is how I like to do my forms. And it, again, this is the way Darlene likes. It is not the only way that you can do it. So I've just removed this little tab and I've just stuck it to the wayside for a second. I am going to pull apart and rip the paper up against the form, because what that will do is it will give you a really nice clean edge here so that I can test to see, do I need to cut it for the hyponychium? And you can tell that the form is hitting here and is gapped there. So I need to cut for my hyponychium. And you'll see on the form that it's got some little dotted lines, and that's exactly where we are going to cut for the hyponychium. Now, I like to do it just halfway. Don't always like to go right straight to that first dot, because do I need to cut it a little? Do I need to cut it a lot? So now again, going to dry fit my form, and it's better, but I'm still a little shy here, so I'm going to cut a little bit more. By leaving the form on the paper, you can do a dry fit, you can do your measurements, and you can make sure that everything is going to fit really well before taking it off, and then your form becomes not sticky anymore. Okay, so I'm happy with how that looks. It's fitting really nice. Now I'm going to take the form off of the paper. And I take my little tab and I place it behind right there. Okay. The reason why I'm doing that is that when I pinch my bottom tabs together, so I want to line these up really good, it's giving a little bit more support here in the barrel. Okay. Now, for doing a coffin or a stiletto, if I leave my end open, it's going to make it too wide here at the front. So I have to pinch my front closed. All right, so I'm going to, I like to pinch it a little bit ahead of time, just lightly tack it, just enough, again, that I have something to hold on to. All right, now we're going to come to the finger with my form. The dots are for the middle. So what I mean when I say you might have to drop, like right now, if we look at this form, it's kind of going up a little bit. So I need to slightly drop, and you'll get a better angle of that here. Can you see if this is not straight? If this was straight, my form would be straight, but I need to just drop it slightly. I'm going to close my bottom ends. Okay. And I'm just going to close those tabs. Oops. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I want to make this a lot more narrower. So I'm going to cut my sides so that I can really get a nice tight C curve. So I'm going to cut here, and I want to make an angle going this way, not this way, because I need my sidewalls. I'll do the same thing on this side, and where you cut is right where the sidewall detaches and the free edge starts. Now, I did something really stupid before I came on camera, and I put lotion on, so I'm feeling like my form is not sticking properly. I'm gonna, nope. Sorry guys, got to do it again. I got to clean my finger because it is got lotion on it. See, it happens to all of us. You just clean it with Nail Care Plus to dehydrate that a little bit. All right, let's do this again. While I'm doing this again, are there any questions, Laura?
None right now, but if you have a moment, can you maybe briefly discuss the benefit of the platinum nail form versus the stiletto and what you might use the stiletto form for instead of the platinum form? Because
Sure. So really, I mean, I think people get very afraid of the stiletto form because it is considerably longer than what the platinum form is. But if you were to take a look at the stiletto form, there's a little cut mark that you can cut across, and I'll show you here in a second, that allows you to have a shorter form. The stiletto just allows you to make longer nails. Okay, so if and it's more for the extreme, but it's versatile in the fact that I don't have to just be extreme. Oops, hang on. I'm just pulling one out here. So if you take a look here, this is my platinum form. But if you check here, there's a cut mark. And that cut mark is relatively the same length, maybe just a hair shorter than what the platinum form is. So my platinum form, it's great for your everyday salon lengths. If I'm starting to get into longer, then I definitely do like using the platinum, or pardon me, the stiletto form, because I've got that extra. The stiletto forms are a little bit wider here. So if you've got somebody that has pudgy fingers and you can't get them to close here on the end, using the stiletto form really does make a big difference. I am sorry, I don't know why my words are being all jumbled here. And I apologize for those that are like, did she say platinum? Did she say stiletto? The stiletto form is wider here compared to the tabs here. So if you're trying to get it to come around, and especially thumbs can be a real issue, you may not have enough room, then you could use the stiletto. But if you look at it, they're set up the same way. You've got your straight lines for your grids, for your straight sidewalls, for those nails that require you to be straight out, as well as your angled form lines for doing angled nails, like your coffin or your stiletto, or even your almond. Okay, so I'm going to use my essential bond. Put that on the natural nail. Okay, so the colors that I am using today, I am going to be using Totally Clear. Give that a shake. You always want to shake your powders before you start. I am going to be using Baby Pink for the body. Okay, so you can see that. And I am using Natural White. I want it to be really milky. Okay, and then the glitter that I'm going to be using is a glitter from Belladara. The color is called Diamond Cut. I absolutely love this glitter. So you can just kind of get a good idea as to what's going on here. So I want to make a coffin nail, and I'm going to do a fade. All right, so I'm going to start. So I'm using my sensitive here because that's what's in my dappen dish. I like to start at the free edge. So I'm just going to do a really thin white or creamy white drop right here. Okay, so you can see it's pretty transparent for a white, but I'm just kind of lining up what my tip is going to look like. Okay, I like to start it right here where the natural free edge is, and the form, because I can connect the two together. So what I'm doing is, you can see here, there's the line that I'm going to go out to. Okay, so I'm going to bring it, I'm going to actually close it a little bit more because I want to come out to the 5. All right, so now just stretch that out. Make sure that I've got it on that side as well. Grab some more. And I'm just going to place it. Gives me just a little something that I can see where my nail is going. Okay, so you can see I'm stretching. I'm following that line right there. I have fallen slightly. So I'm going to just drag that up. This is the beauty about the forms. Following those lines just really makes it so much easier. You don't have to, you don't have to do a guesswork, because my parallel lines are going to be the same from sidewall to sidewall. So sometimes what ends up happening, these are your parallel lines. One ends up going longer or shorter than the other one does. Okay, so you can see it's really milky. That's the first. I'm just going to put that thin layer down. Okay, now I'm going to take my Baby Pink. I need to kind of rest my finger because I'm hovering and I'm shaking. Just put my baby pink down. And I want to get it as close and tucked in to the sidewalls and the cuticle line as I possibly can. And I'm kind of just washing it forward. So it's going to go into my creamy white. That's okay. And I'm kind of using this more so just for color, not necessarily using it right now for structure. I am going to encapsulate it with my clear. Just take a little bit more of that pink because I want it to be a little bit softer in that blend. Bring it back. There. Okay. So now I'm going to pick up again just a little bit of white because I want to make this a little bit more solid, more opaque, but remember it's a very sheer color. And I'm just going to brush it backwards. Okay, super happy with that. Now I'm going to take my clear and I'm going to take my glitter and I'm going to place it here. Press that out. You have to make sure when you're working with glitter, you still have to have enough powder in there. So don't make it all glitter and no clear because you won't have, obviously the glitter is not going to make for a strong nail. So I'm just going to blend that back a little bit. Okay, super happy with that. And now I'm going to take my clear again and I'm going to create my apex and just give a little bit more strength. So what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be filing on the clear and not filing on the color. So I'm not going to file away my pink. Yes, you don't have to do clear. If you wanted to, you can go straight in with more of the pink, but I do like to, sometimes I find that I wash away, like I file too hard and then I'm filing on the pink and I've lost all my structure that I needed there. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna let that set up and then I'm gonna pinch. Any questions so far? And of course you can use, I mean, you can use any color combination that you want. I just wanted to kind of get them to be as similar as I possibly can. The baby pink really is a very light kind of, it's not on right, kind of washed pink. It's great for doing your fades and everything like that.
Can you give everyone a little bit of a close up of that nail that you just sculpted?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to pinch it using our NSI pinchers. So you can hear the further away from the nail is, it's starting to set up, but here it's not. So the biggest thing is knowing when to pinch and when not to pinch. All right. If I pinch right now too early, I'm going to leave imprints behind. Okay. But of course, if it's too hard, then you're not going to be able to pinch it at all. I take my pinchers right here is where I want to pinch and I want to bring that in. Okay. And I'm just going to let it sit there for a minute. And that's going to just tighten that up there a whole lot more. So yeah, so pinching, if you do it too soon, then you're going to leave your imprints of your pinching tool behind. If you wait too long, then you're not going to be able to pinch it at all. So that too can be a really big problem. So typically I wait so I can hear that kind of tinging noise, okay? Then I know that it's ready to go. Okay. All right, let's take this form off. And there shouldn't be much to file. So the first thing that I like to do, I look down the barrel of my nail and I want those parallel lines. Okay, I want those lines to meet up. Okay, so there we go. We've met up. So I've got my parallel lines there. I'm going to straighten my sidewall here. I'm going to straighten my sidewall on this side. And the biggest mistake that a lot of people do when they start making these different shapes, doing a coffin or doing a stiletto and having it be really short, you don't get that angle. And what a lot of people end up doing is they file away those the parallel lines underneath because they're trying to give it the shape of what that nail should be. So you do have to have, with some of these lengths, you do have to have a longer nail enhancement. You can't just say, oh, I'm gonna, make a short nail. And then, your clients, and that's the biggest thing. Our clients want to have all these different shapes, but they don't realize that they need to have length to them. So here's a great thing that I'm going to just show you really quick. If you feel that you've gotten a little close to your sidewall, I love this bit from NSI. It is the 5-in-1 tapered one. If I turn my file to maybe an 8, I can get in really nice and close if I needed to do a little bit of blending, because it's like, oh, I got too close with my product, but I can get in there and file with my e-file without cutting myself. And then you can always go down, take a little bit of that bulk out too. Okay, so that's a good little tip that you can do there. All right. The other thing that I like to do when I'm filing my nails is I look at it from the underside. So look at right here and right here. How much bulk is there for your nail? Okay, because it doesn't have to be a lot. But say there was, you could take your file and on an angle, start to blend that side in just like that. And that gives it, starting to give that tapered look. Do you see that? So I always like to turn my hand over, look to see how much product there is that I can file away, file it on an angle so that you can see here where I filed, but I've left the middle high. And then you can just tie the two together. Okay, and then of course, when you go to do your free edge, so looking down the barrel of that nail, just give it a little bit of shadow. You can see I've got a little bit of a height right here. Blend that in. I don't know if you've noticed or not, but I nicked myself because I was a little too close. Okay, and then I take my buffer. Give it a dust. Okay, don't look at the fact that I cut myself because that's not cool, but I did anyways. And then put my top coat over top. And then you'll see everything pops together. And there you have your really nice coffin nail. So the more I pin, if I were to take my form and pinch it closer to where I want it to stop, it will bring the front in narrower. But the biggest thing is you still need to have sidewalls, okay? But it's the angle and the taper that you've taken your form, and then of course the angles that I've used, because I've used these angle lines, I still am straight, but I'm tapered in. And then if I wanted to have a more narrower front, then just close it more and then bring it out to there, whichever way you're going to go. Any questions?
No, there doesn't seem to be any questions about the nail you've just made. Oh,
Okay.
Blanca said, do you prefer top coat to seal?
It all depends what it is that I'm doing. I really do love the no wipe top coat, but then there are times where I want that tacky disbursement layer because I might be doing something to it. And so then I'll use the seal. I think the biggest thing that you have to remember when you're using the no wipe top coat, it is a little bit thicker in consistency compared to the seal. The seal is really thin and, if I dare say, watery. So if you have a tendency to add bulk when you're putting your top coat on, I would stick with the seal because it is really that thin. Or make sure that when you're using your no wipe top coat, really wipe off the brush, because you've got a lot. See how it's already starting to load here from the tube. So you have to really stretch it out. But I like both. I have no qualms with either one. Okay. All right. I wanted to show you under camera. And again, please don't judge me, because some might think that this is really gross. But this is my daisy nail that I kept the free edge of. And I think this has got to be at least 5 years old. But I want to give you an idea as to what it's going to look like. Okay, so we're going to have it on there. Obviously, it's going to be tapered and shaped really nice. But you can see here is the daisy. So we have to do things very differently with our form. And we're going to have some fun with, again, some glitter. And we're going to do a little bit of 3D art on here. So this is the nail that we are going to be looking at in June. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited about it. Oh, almost lost it. It is my inspiration. I keep it because, like I said, it's been a while since I've done one. Whoops, I'm going to just turn the camera around and look at you this way. So it's been a little while since I've done one. And it's always kind of one of those things where it's fun to just, okay, let's just keep it because it's my memento. And yeah, anyways. Okay, but that's the one that we're going to be doing. And we're going to be doing it out of acrylic, although before June I'm gonna try and recreate it even using the poly paste, because I think this might be something that poly paste can definitely do. I just want to check it out to see how strong it's going to be and what it's going to look like with that. But yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun, so make sure that you register for that. There is no cost. Okay, so there is no cost to it. But in order to see it, you need to register, because it's not going to be put on Facebook or anything like that. So any other questions that you might have with regards to the attraction monomers or the powders or anything like that?
I think everyone is super excited and looking forward to the next demo. Thank you so much for the really informative acrylic demo today.
Perfect. Perfect. And as per usual, if you've got any questions, you can either message me directly or put the questions in the comments, because I always like to go back and re-answer any questions that there might be. And otherwise, I am looking forward to seeing you in June. You all take care and have a great month. So I guess that's it then, Laura.
Thanks so much, Darlene.
You're
We'll see you
welcome.
next
See you
one.
later, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.